Hey, this is Cameron Parker. You're listening to the Unbelievers podcast.
There were several groups. One of the principal ones was the reptilians from the Orion complex.
Without any exaggeration, it was like being on fire inside.
Rats were eating you up inside.
This stuff was in my mouth. It felt like it was 500 degrees. It was unbelievably hot.
My first question would be, were you a member of the Church of Satan, a card-carrying member of the Church of Satan?
I don't understand.
There's always an argument for everything. You know, just because somebody can fake something doesn't necessarily mean it's
war, and we found a life form. And that's when I started shitting my pants.
So for the person who called, I am carrying an alien.
An alien baby, we covered right here, okay?
Okay.
Something is happening. What is it? That's the question. So do UFOs exist? It depends on what you mean exist.
There are many areas in the field of ufology and extraterrestrials that are not only strange and unbelievable, they can be downright disgusting. Gray aliens and their fascination with anal probes, David Huggins in his bowl, and whatever the hell was happening in Fire in the Sky. But none as repulsive and upsetting as what has been occurring over the last 50 years to our nation's horses and cattle, who have been found horribly dissected and mutilated under mysterious circumstances involving UFOs. So, join us now as we discuss cattle-snatching aliens and the trail of butchered heifers that lie in their wake. So grab your Linda Moulton House for this strange harvest. It's UFOs and animal mutilations. Right here in the program, where you continue to learn to unlearn everything you know. Hello and welcome to the Unbelievers podcast. I'm your host, Rus Ryan, and joining me as always is my co-host, Drea Mora. Hello, Drea.
Hey, what's up?
And our soundboard engineer and producer, Rob Okey.
We know that radioactivity settles in the anus.
What's up, guys? How's it going?
Yes, thank you. Hello, Rob. How you doing, Drea?
Good.
Yes, here we are. Good, getting the wholesome stuff out of the way. You know, I've been having a lot of fun so far this year. We've talked about some fun little topics, crop circles and silly time travelers. But I think tonight tonight's gonna be a little more the darker side of the paranormal, which we don't, there's not a lot of these.
Usually get into.
Yeah, not a lot like this one. I don't think so.
Yeah, I guess you could say it's the darker side. It's more, I don't know. Mm-hmm. It's definitely it's the dirtier side for sure. I mean, and not in a fun way. It's just like get your hands dirty sort of a thing.
Some people could consider it fun.
Yeah,
we'll see.
All right.
We'll see what kind of
I don't know.
We'll see. We'll see what happens.
All right. Yeah. Well, what are we talking about? Let's just get into it and get it over with. Tonight, it's UFOs and animal mutilations. Tonight, we're going to be discussing one of the strangest and most disgusting fields in ufology, and that is UFOs and animal mutilation. Drea.
Yes.
Of all the things that aliens are suspected of doing on this planet, this has to be one of the worst, correct?
Yeah, because people mostly think of anal probes, but then with this, it's just so much more than probing.
Yeah,
they definitely get. What do you think, Rob? One of the worst?
Yeah, I mean, they are definitely more known for anal probing, but I think you got to start somewhere, and I think this is possibly where they started.
So this is like advanced.
Yeah,
they got to feel for the probing.
You got to start with animals, and then work your way up to humans. I think is really what's
serial
going on
killers.
Here. Yeah, kind of. Yeah, aliens are a lot like serial killers.
Starting off worse then, but. When we began this podcast, we made a vow. We were going to cover all aspects of the paranormal and the unbelievable, nothing off limits. And now here we are talking about mutilated animals. And I'm not a fan of this genre or subcategory in the annals of UFOlogy. But I do think it's important to talk about, and I will say I am a very squeamish person when it comes to some of the things we're going to be talking about. So this was not the easiest program to put together. And I just want to put that out there. We're just reporting on this horror show. I'm a big supporter of animals. I think you guys are too.
Yeah, we don't want to. I don't think anyone would think that we're celebrating animal mutilations, but I guess it's important to put that disclaimer out there.
Yeah, I don't. Well, I'm pretty sure most of our listeners will understand. We are not responsible for anything that happens to any of the animals that we cover in this episode.
No, if we put a watermark on it,
yeah,
it's not
we didn't do anything. We all love animals. I got a cat. I got a dog. Drea's got a turtle. We love animals over here on the Unbelievers podcast. Animal friendly.
Pretty hard to mutilate a turtle too, so he's safe.
Yeah, he's got plenty of protection.
Between the cryptids and the UFOs, even the house pets and the domestic animals, something always bad happening. So UFOs and animal mutilations, what are we even talking about? There are many people who have reported strange deaths involving animals such as horses and cattle, and some experts and ranchers have attributed these deaths to extraterrestrials. There have been a few instances of unsolved animal mutilations in the past, but it wasn't until the 1960s that people really started to believe that aliens was the cause of these cattle death incidents.
Yeah.
The first ever case of UFOs and aliens being the chief suspect in an animal killing was in September of 1967, and the victim was a horse named Snippy.
Aww.
Oh, no. That's a really bad name.
Not Snippy. They snipped Snippy?
You guys aren't familiar with the story of Snippy the horse?
When Snippy got snipped? No. You had to refresh my memory.
Never heard of Snippy. Poor guy.
Well, let's hear the backstory of Snippy the horse from eyewitness and journalist Sylvia Lobato.
So I was at my mom's house one morning, and we were talking about different things, and my kids were small. And the phone rang, and my mother picked up the phone. And, oh my God, oh God, well, okay, what can I do? Hung up. And she turned around to me and she said, Nellie's horse got killed by a flying saucer last night. And my intelligent comment was, huh? And we went out to what I call a Snippy pasture, Snippy meadow. And here's this horse. And it's laying on its side like it had just dropped over while it was running. Except for the fact that from here up, all of the skin, tissue, everything was stripped from that horse's head. Within the next 2 weeks, people were there from NORAD. There were experts for the Air Force. There were expert pathologists here from other states. There was a reporter from the Paris match.
Yes, this was a big case. This horse was actually an Appaloosa named Lady. They called her Snippy after the accident, almost ironically because of what happened. But
that's mean.
Yeah, that's
not funny.
That is not cool. And
it's kind of funny.
This is what Snippy has to say about that.
Oh, I forgot you had that horse clip.
Poor Snippy. That's a mean name to give to a horse that got mutilated.
It is spaceshipped.
What are we doing here, guys? What is that?
Just keep calling it Lady.
Yes, please.
Yeah, come on.
A little dignity.
Throw some
respect. So this incident, Lady had a caretaker named Harry King, and he became concerned when she didn't come to the fence behind the King home for her water and usual treat. Lady loved treats.
How dare you?
And Harry lived with his mom, Agnes, and she was 87, and they cared for the horse that belonged to his sister who lived in Alamosa. So this guy goes out looking for the horse, and he finds her lying on her side with her head stripped bare to the bone.
Ugh.
Jesus.
And he said the precision cuts on the flank couldn't have been from a coyote or even a pack of them, and there was a strong smell akin to acetone, like a chemical smell lingering in the air.
Yeah,
Weird.
man. Coyotes, even a pack of them, they're not really good at surgery. And they're sure as hell not going to have chemicals on them if they're going to do that kind of shit.
It's so weird. It's so strange. The thing that always gets me about these cases is why are they returning them? If you're going to do that, if you're going to mutilate the thing and rip all skin off its head, you can't just put it back and act like nothing happened. Obviously, we're going to notice.
Well, why would they take it with them? They're like, just drop it.
They can put it anywhere. They're like, let's just put it right back where we got it, just to piss off, just to traumatize whoever we stole this poor horse from.
Nature, leave nature as close to as you found it.
The reasoning is just, I can't wrap my head around it.
This is as close as they could get? This is as close as we could get. But play soundboard 1, Rob. Yeah, because if you ran across this, you would just say,
oh my God, oh God.
I don't know why that's and also I don't know. I like this play soundboard too. This was pretty good. We can use this for.
My intelligent comment was, "Huh."
Huh?
Yeah, I mean that's what any intelligent person would say would be, huh? Because
I'm glad that she acknowledges how intelligent she is, though, because I would have been really concerned. Like,
you would have been like, you would have just been like,
oh my God, oh God.
Pretty much.
Yeah, I would just repeat what my mom said. Yeah, that's what I usually do.
Yeah. But there was a subsequent investigation by someone named Wadsworth Ayer for the Condon Committee, and they concluded that there was no evidence to support the assertion that the horse's death was associated in any way to abnormal causes. But when the Lewises phoned Alamosa County Sheriff Ben Phillips, he told them that the death was probably due to a lightning strike, and he never bothered to visit the site. So I don't think a lightning strike sounds like this. But here's a statement about Snippy from a large animal mortality expert named Thomas Young, and some more opinions from Sylvia Lobato thrown in.
Well, I examined the skeleton very closely. I could see no evidence of teeth marks or scavenger pecks or anything like that would have occurred on the bones.
And then as I did my research, I realized that the situations at Roswell were quickly quashed, again by the United States Air Force. What happened at Roswell? And I have no proof that it was a flying saucer, little green men, and all this other stuff. But the Air Force went as quick as they could to just totally shut it up.
Yeah, Roswell was quickly quashed, as she said. And the same thing happened with Snippy. The government is trying to sweep this whole thing under the rug. Lady.
Yeah. Poor lady. You'd think if they wanted to really kind of, put that out of their mind really quick, they would just kind of, I don't know, you don't react as much as to be like, no, shut the fuck up. It's not Roswell. You just be like, okay, where's Roswell?
And you guys don't sound impressed. This isn't hitting you guys as the Roswell of animal mutilation so far. Rob seems unimpressed.
It's weird.
No.
It's certainly weird. And I really hate that explanation that professional gave, or whoever that was. They said it got struck lightning. Come on, man. And he didn't even go to look at it, and he said it was lightning. Like, nobody mentioned lightning at all up until this point. And he's just going to pull that out of his pocket. Lightning. And
it
use
happens
that one?
Sometimes, I think. That's got to suck. There are a percentage of cows every year that are killed by lightning. I thought about that.
Sure.
I felt
I guess
extra
they don't have their
cows.
skin peeled off of their skull, though.
That can't peel the skin. Like, that'll burn you, obviously. And, people have gotten struck by lightning that hasn't ripped all the skin off of their head when it happens, usually.
No, they just get a little cooked.
I don't know.
Yeah, well, we're going to pump it up a little. Maybe it is a little more Roswell than you think, because Sylvia has reason to believe that something unbelievable happened to Snippy, a.k.a. Lady, because she has actually seen some physical evidence.
A piece of metal about this wide and about this long. I think it was metal. It looked like a piece of a tool was out there, and it had horsehair on it. So Nellie bends over, she's like, maybe this is something to do with my horse's death. Picked it up, screamed through it. Her hand was red. It burned her hand that badly, just that piece of metal. Then we were out there with Dwayne, and he's got the Geiger counter, and it starts spiking on the horse, And he says, you guys get away from here right now. You better go. This is bad.
Yeah. And I read that this is there's a green goo, or there's a green slime all over this rod thing that they find. It's a goo rod.
You'd think that they would have mentioned that. But if she found this metal thing, not mentioning that there's slime all over it.
It burned her mom's hand, and
that's
weird.
That's severe.
Very strange. So we're saying aliens are leaving their tools behind now, also, so they're forgetting stuff.
Maybe they left something inside
I don't think
a lady.
Got it. I think they were just like, ew, this shit's gross and disgusting. Just leave it behind. We don't want to keep this on the ship.
So it's just the aliens are littering is really what's going on here. They're just leaving their garbage.
Well, no, we need.
Bro, they just mutilated the fuck out of an animal. You think they care about littering?
It just seems very strange for aliens to have any sort of a footprint as far as garbage goes. I don't think that aliens they're.
Well, that's what it's a rare thing, and that's why this case stands out. And play soundboard 3. I don't know why this gave me Diane is fine Unbeliever Carol vibes here.
You guys get away from here right now. You better go. This is bad.
You need to
get away from here.
Tell you what, Rob, I want you to do is put the weatherman after that clip. I think there's some weird mashup I just want to make right now.
You guys get away from here right now. You better go. This is bad.
Don't be afraid. I'm not going to hurt you. I'm the weatherman.
I kind of puts it in a different light. But back to Snippy. Now for the gross part. We're going to hear the full autopsy of poor Lady Snippy.
The guys from NORAD and some people from the Aerial Phenomenon Research Organization and another unnatural phenomenon group came down, and they autopsied the horse in the field. And that's when they found no brain tissue, they found no tongue, they found no spinal fluid. Nothing was in the spinal column, nothing. The horse could have run through a fence, and the fence could have stripped the tissue from its head from top to bottom. What? Well, okay, we go back out there.
The mental image she's conjuring there, a horse is going to run full speed through a fence and rip its entire face off.
What? It got scared from the lightning and just ripped its face off on the fence.
Play soundboard 4. I just made a little longer clip because I got to hear that again.
The horse could have run through a fence, and the fence could have stripped the tissue from its head from top to bottom. Well, okay.
Okay.
Well, okay. You know what? After hearing it a second time, now I'm like, well, okay.
Now I'm convinced.
Yeah, now
I shortened it for us, too. You can play soundboard 5. You can have that whenever.
Well, okay.
Okay. All right.
I like it.
I could see that happening, but I don't know about the whole.
Really?
Maybe just like a portion of the skin. I don't know.
I don't want to see that happen. I don't know. I have to keep thinking about it. When she's telling me that this thing is running its face through a fence, it's gross.
Yeah, it's gruesome.
It's horrifying. I can't imagine an animal like it. It's not like it's brand new on that land, you know. It's gonna know where it's at and not run into a fence anyway.
It just seems so hard to do. I don't think any creature could do that to itself.
No, not the way that it's described. Not from what they're describing. The
surgical precision.
The extent of the damage is just too much for it to be inflicted on itself. I'm not buying it.
Have you guys ever run into a fence and then lost all your spinal fluid?
I found I fell over one once on a bike and kind of gave myself a few scars. But
I lost half of my spinal fluid that time, but not all of it.
Not all of it.
No.
Just can't.
Can't recall.
There's a lot of disgusting, gory details in all of this. But why is she convinced that a UFO is involved?
There's no horsehair, there's no tissue, there's nothing on any of the fences that this horse could have stripped its head on. And the tracks for the horse ended, and it was here. And then about 100 feet further, it was dropped. Like something had literally picked it up and dropped it right in the middle of this circle with all these marks around it, like something had stuck. It was like a tripod and a few other circles there. Nothing identifiable on this planet could have made those marks that were in a circle around the horse.
Yeah, lady was picked up and she was dropped like 100 feet away, looking all Night of the Living Dead horse-wise, and there's tripod markings.
Yeah, it's just so rude and disrespectful to... did they know her name was Lady? Like, geez, do it just like a squirrel or something. I don't know.
I think they immediately started calling her Snippy. They were even saying a Snippy patch before. I didn't understand.
Because they don't want to think
meant.
about her as a lady anymore. I get it. But that, I mean, I don't know. This just seems so sad because horses are such beautiful creatures, and what a waste.
This is the first thing that they're saying that really does make it feel like this was UFO related, because what else could pick up a horse and move it that far without there being drag marks, without there being like, some sort of path of blood, and like whatever's going on here, it's not happening.
Draining the blood, and there's weird markings. She had stretched it a little bit immediately. I was like, well, someone could build some kind of rig and put her on. It is not immediately alien.
But like overnight,
but like
though?
what the rig was where? You know, like
I don't know.
Shouldn't there be tracks from the rig?
A truck.
But then there'd
where's the tire
trucks? You know, there'd be truck marks.
I don't know.
Yeah, like there would be some sort of evidence of this. But I mean, what they're describing, it just sounds like a UFO landed and picked this thing up, and they even have the tripod marks she's describing that sound like the legs from a UFO, which we've heard in the past. They can cause marks, and sometimes they even like pick up stuff when they leave. So it's who knows. Yeah.
I agree with Rob. It sounds like this is the most significant clue that we have to point towards UFOs, because we don't have anything else that could just where the horse's tracks would just stop and then her body's just right there.
Yeah,
like not even a tornado would do that shit.
A Willy maybe could do it.
Yeah, right.
But not everyone is buying into this whole UFO alien connection to Lady Snippy, including a guy named Dr. Hobie Dixon, who had this to say.
If it was a UFO, wow, I'd love to see one. And maybe it was. Maybe I'll find out sometime. But as far as I'm concerned right now, it's just another dead horse.
Wow. Okay, dude.
So After being removed from the Snippy Patch, the Snippy Meadow, Lady Snippy's bones began an odyssey of their own. Alamosa veterinarian Wallace Leary boiled off the remaining skin and tissues in 1968 and mounted the skeleton on a metal platform, bones held together by wires and screws. In that condition, Snippy spent a few years on the sidewalk in front of the Chamber of Commerce and was in a private museum for a while before ending up in an abandoned house on Carl Heflin's ranch, where she sat for about 20 years.
Jesus.
And then Frank Duran, a marketing specialist with Dell's Insurance, offered the bones on eBay at the behest of Heflin's nephew, and some $10,000 was raised. The nephew reportedly wanted $50,000 and took the skeleton away. It is now sitting alone in a warehouse somewhere. That's the latest info on the location of the bones of Lady.
That's
weird.
That's just not right. They're literally beating a dead horse at this point. Like, and boiling a dead horse as well. Like, what are you doing? Leave her alone.
That's what you gotta do to get like all the stuff off of it and everything. I kind of appreciate them reconstructing the skeleton that way. I mean, it could have been worse. They could have just like dumped it in a landfill with like no honor. But at least
it belongs in a museum, not in front of the Chamber of Commerce. It's not like a Hodag statue.
There you go.
Yeah.
Snippy is missing. The locals are not happy about this, and they want their Snippy back.
We're interested in Snippy because it's an interesting part of Valley history. And I think it goes without saying that the appropriate place for Snippy is in the Valley and in the museum.
This is the strangest unsolved murder in this area. Get the cold case folks from TV here on it. I don't know. But it's totally an unsolved murder of a horse.
If Snippy were available where people could take a look at it, I think we'd see a tremendous number of people coming to see it. A tremendous number.
Snippy would do huge numbers. Instead, she's being held ransom in some barn for $50,000 and play Soundboard 6. I really, this is a very important fact.
It's totally an unsolved murder of a horse.
Of a horse.
Yeah, I mean, she's not wrong. It's just, it sounds a little dramatic, but she's connected to it. I think if we want to get this horse's bones out, we need to get Zach Baggins on it, and he'll buy them.
No, he won't leave Snippy there. Snippy will end up in Vegas with everything else. You know that's where Snippy's going to end up.
Well, yeah, I know. And they wanted her to stay in the valley and everything, but I guess maybe that's just a tourism board. They just want people to go there. And
well, I will say, at least she's in a barn now. Like you said, they're keeping her in a barn at least. That's where horses belong.
I don't think anyone's keeping her. She's just sitting somewhere waiting to be sold on eBay again.
In a barn, though, at least.
I think that horses should be running free out in the fields. They shouldn't even be
No,
in the
not
barns.
Snippy. She's going to run into a fence again. All right, I take it back.
No.
I get the feeling, though, that this town, when they think about Snippy, all they are seeing is dollar signs. Even Sylvia Lobato.
The one thing that woman wanted, and the one thing my mom wanted, and the one thing I want, is to find out what really killed Snippy. And hey, if we can bring people into the valley to come here and spend money and boost our economy on top of that, then let's go for it.
Yeah, Snippy, yeah, you're right. Being exploited left and right.
Go on, explode!
I don't know where that
You
came
said
from.
it. Aliens are taking his guts. His bones end up on the sidewalk. They're trying to be sold on eBay. It's a very hard life for his life of Snippy, even post-mortem.
Yeah, they're using this poor horse.
At least she was being transparent about it, just being very pragmatic. Like, look, we do want to have the horse here in the town where it was from. But if it does help boost our economy, like, that's not a bad thing. She's being just honest.
I don't know about that. I think they're overestimating the potential income that Snippy's bones could bring in. Listen to this from Mike Dunn of the San Luis Museum.
The whole incident happened here. She is just part of the Valley, an interesting part of Valley history, and she should be here. It would be, kind of like taking the Statue of Liberty and putting it in, Louisville, Kentucky. It just wouldn't make any sense.
Yeah, it's exactly like
France,
that. If I saw
okay.
Snippy in Gary, Indiana, I'm like, what the hell is this? This makes no sense. It's like you blew it all up.
I wonder if this guy's ever been to Las Vegas and seen the New York. He's going to blow his mind.
What a weird analogy. What a weird analogy. How are you comparing this dead horse to the Statue of Liberty, number one?
Right.
And it just makes me imagine like the Statue of Liberty. Imagine if they swap them, if they like put Snippy or Statue of Liberty and they put Statue of Liberty.
Just that tiny, like not even a larger scale, just that.
It's just like, they're like, is that a horse bone statue? What is that thing? Like,
we traded it together with screws. It looks like it's been in a barn for 20 years.
Oh my God. What the hell?
It's not the same at all.
Snippy's just the first. Yes, it is. It's the Statue of Liberty of mutilated dead animals. But the first in what would be many, many animals that were killed and mutilated under mysterious circumstances. This problem, it got much worse in the 1970s. One of the few journalists that took a keen interest in this phenomenon was a woman named Linda Moulton Howe. This is a person we have discussed on this program quite a few times.
Oh, yeah.
This is her main field of study. And that's how she got that famous nickname, Linda Moulton Howe now, was an abducted cow. People have called her that for generations. And while Snippy was a horse, the majority of the mutilated animals going forward were cows. After researching these cattle mutilations for many years, Linda Moulton Howe was ready to alert the masses about the strange goings-on in our nation's farmlands. And in 1980, she produced and hosted a documentary called A Strange Harvest. Here is Linda in the introduction giving a bit of an update on the state of cattle mutilation. Because I think this must have been like a special edition of A Strange Harvest that you could find on YouTube.
Oh, great.
And I gotta say, you guys remember when we discussed the Varginha incident?
I do.
And remember the constant sirens in that documentary? Yeah. It was very distracting the entire
I forgot
time.
about that, actually, yeah.
Well, this documentary, A Strange Harvest, this has something very similar, but equally annoying.
The film you are about to see, called A Strange Harvest, was first broadcast in May 1980. The subject is a mystery which has haunted ranchers and law enforcement for the past decade: the mutilation of animals, especially cattle, throughout the United States and Canada. Since the first broadcast, mutilations have continued, but with little or no media coverage. Perhaps because it's easier to accept the usual explanation of predator attack. However, in the past few months, since September of 1982, I have received 12 mutilation reports from sheriff's offices, all relating to bizarre cuts, not predators.
The mooing is so over the top. She is giving great, stats about cattle mutilations, what's going on, but it sounds like they're being mutilated in the background.
They want to remind you. They want to remind you that this is about cows, and they don't want you to forget that. Even though she's in the middle of reading a sentence, they constantly want to remind you, this is about cows.
They seem to amp up when she would talk about mutilations and precision cuts, like extra loud.
It's like the loop is so short too. It makes it even that more distracting because you know when the moves are going to come up again. And I stopped listening to her for a second because of that.
I don't think it is. I don't know if it's a loop. I guess they are purposely putting it in there, but it doesn't stop there. Here's a woman named Linda DeZeris speaking about a recent encounter with a mutilated cow.
About noon, we went out to check the cows. We had some cows that were about to calve, and everything was okay. And so we went back to the house, had lunch. About all afternoon, we'd worked out on the truck all afternoon. It was a pretty day, and we hadn't seen or heard anything.
I think the cows are saying, get to the point already. You ate a sandwich. Who cares?
It's difficult. They keep interrupting her, it sounds like. She's trying to get through her sentence, but every time she's about to say something, they're like...
Yeah, and look,
like
play soundboard 7, because I had no idea what she said in the beginning. It reminded me of the dog man riding the bus. Listen to this.
We went out to check the cows. We had some cows that were about to calve.
What does that mean? I had some cows. I checked the cows. They were about to cow.
I thought that's what she said. I thought that's
play
what
it
she
again.
said.
I'm trying to understand it still.
We went out to check the cows. We had some cows that were about to calve.
Some cows that were about to cow?
I'm thinking maybe she was saying some calls that were about the cows, but she said it stupid?
Oh, let's hear it again. Let's think now. Imagine that in your mind.
Let's really
get to check the cows. We had some cows that were about to calve.
We had some cows that were about the cows.
I'm more confused now. I don't even know what cow means anymore. Hearing that so many times.
We had some cows that were having a cow, so we made a call to the cow.
I got on the bus. I rode the bus. I was on side of the bus. We know the bus, the cow. She does eventually describe the horrific scene she comes across, though.
Half of the udders were gone. You could see into the stomach cavity. The rectum had been partially removed. The eyes were bulging out. I was horrified at the thought of what could do this in broad daylight when we had checked the cows only a few hours before.
That cow was the Bezuris's third mutilation. In the fall of 1979, they found 2 of their year-old heifers lying 100 feet apart in a pasture. Both were dead, and their rectums had been cored out. Cause unknown.
Yeah, some great sound effects in this one. But those are all the telltale signs of the classic alien cattle mutilation. The udders were removed. This rectum is hollowed out. Bulging eyes.
Cored rectums.
What?
Jesus.
Why did they take the udders?
I don't know. Like, it's like they didn't take the hooves. They didn't take, like, the ears. They just went straight for the, like, I don't know, the naughty bits or whatever. That's the weirdest part to me.
It is, and it's hard to say. You don't want it to be anything human doing this. You're like, I hope this is aliens. I hope there's not some like weirdo out there.
That's what I was kind of leaning towards. I was going to try to save that maybe towards the end of this episode, but what if like all of these cattle mutilation things are like, we made a joke about it in the beginning, but there's a lot of like sick people out there, and you know, there's like a strange amount of serial killers and that kind of stuff. I mean, just like this may be more of like a serial spirit sort of a case, because this could just be like some tweaked out, you know, serial killer practicing.
All right. Maybe.
Surgeon?
I don't know. A surgeon with a helicopter. We'll see about that. So Linda goes and talks to a Wyoming sheriff's deputy named Theron Wild, who takes these cases so seriously that he investigates them the same way he would for human murders. And this guy, Theron Wild, he's not buying the theory that predators are the cause of the incident.
From everywhere I go, they tell me that it's predators, which I do not believe.
Why do you feel differently?
Because I don't feel a predator can do these things. I don't feel a predator can come up and chew a half of a bag off of a cow or the end of the penis off of a bull and not touch any of the rest of the cow. I've been around predators, and they'll go inside the abdominal cavity first and eat the insides, which is easy eating.
Yeah, this is where I tapped out when I was doing the research earlier. I'm pretty sure this is like right around where I tapped out.
It's so great. Eating half a bag, nibbling on bull genitalia. What would do such a thing, Drea?
Just a maniac out there. I think if they're only going for that, there is no, like you said, there's no predator, there's no animal out there that's just going to focus on nibbling penises.
Yeah, this is where you guys stop. But I'll tell you, this is when they really got into the grossest of the gross. This A Strange Harvest was a very informative documentary on this subject. So let's hear Linda Moulton Howe list off all the gross things to look for in a classic cattle alien mutilation.
Some people call it cattle mutilation. Whatever it's called, it's a strange harvest. Parts missing are usually an ear, an eye, the tongue, the lower jaw is stripped of all flesh, the sexual organs are cut out, the rectum is cored out, and in some cases, the blood is gone. Adding to the mystery is lack of tracks or other evidence. Mutilated cattle have been found on wet sand or rain-soaked ground with no tracks around them, not even their own.
Okay. So, as you can hear, that's a lot of stuff for the alien to be doing. It's even for one, you know? A Strange Harvest was a very informative documentary on this subject. So let's hear Linda list off all the gross things to look for in a classic alien cattle mutilation.
Some people call it cattle mutilation. Whatever it's called, it's a strange harvest. Parts missing are usually an ear, an eye, the tongue, the lower jaw is stripped of all flesh, the sexual organs are cut out, the rectum is cored out, and in some cases, the blood is gone. Adding to the mystery is lack of tracks or other evidence. Mutilated cattle have been found on wet sand or rain-soaked ground with no tracks around them, not even their own.
They're doing so much stuff to these poor cows. I don't understand how even the aliens are doing all the things she listed off.
Yeah, I don't know. The cow sounded into it, though, at the end.
Where's the blood going? How are they? That's vampire activity, number one.
True.
The draining of blood is very vampire-ish. Also, chupacabra.
Yes.
Another.
You beat me to it.
The goat sucker, yes.
Chupacabra is a good culprit. There's lots of culprits. And I want to say this, if people are wondering where this is taking place, I guess you could figure anywhere where there are cows or horses to potentially be taken, but it primarily happens in Iowa, Nebraska, Texas, Wyoming, Arkansas, Kansas, and Colorado. And even Canada and Puerto Rico have chimed in with their own. Now we've heard a lot of places chiming in. It wasn't Louisiana. Nowhere we lived came in. I was like, we don't
have cows there, right?
Oh, we have cows.
We're starting to notice a theme for this season. First, we did crops in one of these episodes. Now we're talking cows. Is this so far? Are we doing farms? Is that the theme of season 3 is farms?
I'm okay with that because I don't live on a farm.
UFOs and farm-related activity are hand in glove. It's always happening, of course, so it's better to get into these. And now we know the signs of a mutilation. Now let's hear her list the potential culprits. I don't think she mentions chupacabras, though.
Could it be cults, predators, helicopters, UFOs, deranged individuals? Secret government project? Is any of these the answer? Are all of these part of the answer? Some ranchers believe that whoever's doing the mutilating must be using some kind of aircraft.
I'm saying it's deranged individuals in a helicopter.
I'm going to say that it's a combination of deranged entities using spaceships because I think we've talked about it before, but like aliens don't necessarily always have to be like really smart and they could just be assholes. They could be like the teenagers just like running around like, hey, let's drink this guy's blood and then like pour out his rectum.
Reckless. Yeah, just like reckless teenagers.
Droids or something, or drone droids, or just sent down to just do some dumb job.
Oh, I don't know, because that's not as fun, I don't know.
Cults
I'm not
is
saying
fun,
that
though. Cults is a fun idea, and I'm going to bet that some cults do have access to aircraft. I don't know, hovercrafts, maybe jetpacks.
And surgical
could you pick a cow up with a jetpack?
No,
I love
probably not.
I love how she said it could be none of these things.
It could be all
of these things. It's like, all right, yeah, maybe.
Way to cover your bases, Linda.
Linda's open to all opportunities. Is what's going on. I mean, aliens are definitely probably the number one thing, but there's a lot.
It's a mixture of all of those things. That's definitely.
She says got to be a heartless bastard. Is all. Yeah.
She said helicopters all by itself, as if like there were sentient helicopters snatching our cows.
All right, now I'm afraid of helicopters. Great.
Yeah, got to be scared of helicopters.
Well, another piece of evidence that leads people to believe that UFOs are involved are the strange tracks found near the mutilation scene.
One other place in 1976 north of town, we found tripod marks 12 inches across. The tripod marks were 14 feet apart. We found one set that had gone in the ground roughly 8 inches, and it would take a good post hole digger or our shovel to dig in like this. It indicated something very heavy had sat down in this area, yet there was no tracks leading from it nor to it.
Yeah, more landing tracks. And I think this does rule out any kind of like pulley or, I don't know, cow mutilation lifting device erected to do this disgusting act.
Those usually have 4 feet, not 3.
Was that really ever like one of the options that there was like a pulley device? Like, I don't think that just.
But they are ruling it out. I'm just saying it keeps getting ruled out. Like, this was something, there's no tracks to bring it there. So, what would bring it there? It'd have to be, I don't know.
I don't think there's any human explanation of a machine. I just don't think that there's any human machine that could come and go within a night without
except
having
a helicopter.
Maybe a helicopter, because
you can
helicopter
with a tripod. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, that's what bothers me so much about sometimes that's why I sit kind of in the middle. And I think we kind of all do. We pride ourselves in that. Like a lot of times skeptics can be just as absurd with their attempted explanations at things like, what? That sounds like even more ridiculous than aliens.
The lightning took the poor lady Snippy's face off.
Oh my God!
Oh man, rest in peace, Snippy lady.
Snippy lady.
But UFOs are center to this. It's not just the tripod tracks. People are also reporting strange lights at the mutilation scene.
Almost nightly, when this was going on, we could pick out a very huge brilliant light in the sky. Several times we observed smaller lights come out of this aircraft and then come down toward Earth. This huge brilliant light would hang in the air, and then when it would move, it could move up and down, backwards, forwards, travel very rapidly. And after a while, these smaller lights would join up with the larger one, and then they'd disappear.
See, this is a law enforcement officer, and he's seeing lights. They're seeing strange lights over the fields.
Yeah. Case is closed. That's it.
Yeah. Law officer said so.
Yeah, that's fucking aliens, dude.
What else could it be? We've literally.
It's gotta be.
Yeah.
There was there was also another guy in here, and he ran an animal carcass pickup service. And he also talked about UFOs being involved because he's picked up mutilated cows. But I'm being honest, his tractor was running during the entire interview, and the audio was just garbage. So I can't even use the animal carcass pickup man who's also saw UFO.
Oh,
There's
man,
a lot of bad.
It must have been so bad if the cows made it and he didn't make it.
There's a lot of bad audio in this. It's either cows or tractor or sci-fi noises. And there's also like a really long, they try to test, like they use a laser to use cow parts to see if they can laser out its butthole and stuff. There's a long, gross segment. We're not going to talk about that. So push forward in this to contrast with the UFO sightings. They also talk about sightings of silent black helicopters with a harness underneath. And they think that the Cobra helicopter that was used in Vietnam, that was one possibility, that maybe the Cobra helicopter is flying around and picking up cows silently, and they think it's UFO. They disprove that, though, by actually flying around in a Cobra helicopter they're given access to. And I'll say the Cobra helicopter, it is not silent at all. And they also say there are no silent helicopters available in 1980. Here's the conclusion that the helicopter expert came to in regards to mutilated cattle being taken via silent helicopter.
If I had to choose between aliens of some sort coming down and doing these things to the animals and lifting the animals, as compared to having a helicopter of our size or smaller helicopters doing these things, I would probably be more apt to choose the alien aspect of the cattle problems in the military or any other type of small helicopter.
Yeah, it sounds like he's flying the helicopter while he's saying this. Now there's helicopters. She progressively finds the loudest background audio possible. It's like cows, tractors, helicopters. It's maddening to even have to watch this.
I feel like she was making this like for audio only. The way she's just adding in things like when you have like an audio book and you just need to know that those things
like
are
Foley
there.
Work. It's like we have to have the guy's talking about helicopters. That has to be like way louder than the words he's saying.
Yeah,
she wants you to feel like you're standing next to that helicopter, and I think she's done a great job. She's done a great job of really making it feel like that helicopter is just chopping right next to you.
It could have been louder. So notes to her. If she could just bump it up next time, that way I really feel like I'm next to the helicopter. Because I just wasn't believing it.
Yeah,
it's just bringing it home that this cannot happen silently in a field with a cow involved. It's not
more cowbell. It's more cow.
But can I just say too, on the note of like the idea that it would have even been military helicopters like picking up cows, I'm sure they could get cows.
Yeah,
Like, they could probably raise cows on their own if they needed to.
They don't need your cows.
Yeah,
Linda.
really.
That's when the military explanation, I think it's thrown out of the window. When you think about the fact, how much does a helicopter trip cost compared to buying a few cows? I mean, the fuel is expensive alone.
Yeah.
You could buy a few cows
And
for
if
that.
they need to experiment on so many cows, they would just have their own little mini farm. They could just literally grow their own cows.
And how dumb would they look if they got caught dropping the dead thing back off? They're like, what are you doing? People would be like, what are you doing? They'd be like, we're just dropping a dead cow. Like, that's not happening. That's not, that's definitely not what's going on here. Yeah.
Yeah. They
So
would
throw
do
that
it to
out.
us somehow.
We're falling more and more into the camp of UFOs have to do this.
Yeah, it has to be.
Here's another case. We're going to go to September of 1976. A Wyoming rancher named Pat McGuire was having a flap of cattle mutilations on his property that involved the presence of UFOs. So Linda Moulton Howe, she brings this rancher to a man named Dr. Leo Sprinkle to have...
What? Hold on. What?
Okay, she takes him to a man named Dr. Leo Sprinkle.
Dr. Sprinkle?
I thought you were going to say Dr. Leo Spachemin, like space.
Leo Sprinkle, let's get it together. Dr. Leo Sprinkle, because he's going to have a hypnotic regression session. And I guess you guys are not familiar with the work of Leo Sprinkle?
No, I'm not.
I love Sprinkle. I love him.
All right.
I'm a huge fan of Leo Sprinkle.
Well, for Drea and the listeners, let's hear the bio of Dr. Leo Sprinkle.
Dr. Sprinkle is one of the world's leading authorities in cases involving UFOs and human abductions. He has personally worked with 47 people since 1967. Pat McGuire was his 28th case and the first concerning cattle mutilations.
This is historic. This is the first cattle mutilation hypnosis by the famed Dr. Sprinkle.
God, I totally would have taken on a pseudonym if I were him, if I wanted to be taken seriously.
It might be one. He is involved in people regressing in...
He's like, it used to be Dr. Glitter, but I decided to step it up a notch to be more professional.
When you say it like that, Rose, it sounds like they're hypnotizing the cow.
It does.
Yeah, no, it's not. They're not. Yeah, they're not regressing a cow to remember anything. That's Dr. Sprinkle. That is not his forte. He is involved in doing hypnotic regression for alien abductees and contactees. That is his wheelhouse. And you got to ask: are you guys ready to hear the hypnotic regression of Pat McGuire by Dr. Sprinkle?
Oh, boy, yes.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Well, here he is hypnotically remembering a light that he and his brother saw in the sky.
I said, Mark, I said, let's get the hell out of here. I said, that star's coming. I said, either that or my eyes are bad. He says, it's coming. Change from a pure white to an orange. I said, Mark, son of it's picking up a cow. I said, you hear that cow? Hell, she's bawling.
And it seems to be hovering there over the ridge.
Right, hovering, picking up the cow.
Can you see the cow?
No.
But you can hear the cow?
Right, terrible.
Terrible bawling?
It's terrible. Worse than I ever heard a cow.
Mm-hmm.
And I've heard a few.
Mm-hmm. Okay, then
all of a sudden, everything stopped. The craft is still there. Cows wasn't no ball.
No sound from the cattle?
No, it's like it's a switch. They're weird. And the hair on the back of my neck was straight up.
Yeah, this guy saw it had to be hypnotically regressed to play soundboard 8. This sounds kind of familiar. I don't know. It sounds like the Wet Pants almost.
It's picking up a cow.
I mean, I'm no cow guy,
I
but
my pants.
This thing was picking up a cow.
It's picking up a cow.
Is hypnosis valid, Rob? Is this you think this is an effective way of retrieving memories of this kind?
I'd like to think so, but I know it's definitely...
Have you been hypnotized? Have you ever been hypnotized?
I haven't. I would like to. This way I could actually have more of a solid opinion on if it's effective or not, because I have an outsider's perspective. I don't really know. And I know that like a lot of it is people can be persuaded very easily when they're like relaxed and certain, when you do certain things. So I want to believe in it just like a lot of other things, but I don't know. I really don't know. I know it's very complicated and I know it's very disputed. A lot of people don't believe in it.
What about you? Have you ever been hypnotized, Drea?
I've never been hypnotized.
Do you think you could be? Do you think you could be?
I think so. But I've also heard that the person kind of has to be open to it. It's like Rob said, there's all these kind of complex layers to human psychology.
Somnambulous.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think some people can be, but that it's really not like admissible evidence. I want it to be.
There's something about watching someone who's under hypnosis recalling traumatic events that is very jarring, though. And
it was jarring to watch this because this video is posted on YouTube, but it's reversed and it has a background of just a slow fire burning the entire time.
I hate it.
For one thing, if you watch it, you have to watch mutilated, disgusting cows with their anuses laserly removed and their bags cut off and their penises nibbled off, but with fire burning behind it. And then you have to see people going through this crazy hypnosis regression where they're saying stuff like, what did he say again?
Picking up a cow.
Picking up the cow. It's just he just saw a cow floating. Well, he didn't even see the cow. He said the cow was floating.
He heard the cow. He heard the cow. He knew what was going on.
He knew it was floating.
And the end of the story was they never did find this missing cow. They found the cow's child that was screaming for its mother, and they never heard from this cow again. The one that he heard got picked up was just gone.
Wow.
Okay, but how do they know that that's the child? I guess they do.
They knew
right?
this was the guy.
Stop calling it a child, both of you. It's not a child.
Okay.
It's a calf, okay?
Fine,
it's just
it's a
cow.
baby.
Calf, whatever.
It sounds like there's a child out there.
It is literally the child of that cow, though. That's the definition of a child.
Okay, technically
I'm
you're
trying
right,
to
yes.
make it. Yeah. Look, I mean, this whole thing is very. It's really disturbing, and I think because we kind of feel a kindredship with other living things. And you can totally imagine the distress of your mother's been gone and had her rectum carved out.
Yeah, Pat McGuire sounded like he was legitimately upset by this. But that's his story. That's all he did under aggression. But there is another person who went under the spell of Dr. Sprinkle in order to recall a cattle mutilation. And that was a woman named Judy Doherty, who is the first to witness an actual mutilation firsthand. Here is the setup for the hypnosis session.
On a clear moonlit night in May 1973, Judy was driving back from a bingo game in Houston, Texas. She and her mother, daughter Cindy, and brother and sister-in-law watched a strange bright light hover in the sky. After that night, she suffered terrible headaches and anxiety. In 1978, she underwent one hypnosis session which brought out part of her unusual experience, but not all of it. She also had several psychiatric and personality evaluations, all with results in the normal human behavior range.
This is a big introduction they give to her. So she's not a crazy person. She's been checked out. This is her second session, but the hope here is that Dr. Sprinkle will be able to crack into her memory or her subconscious and see what is hurting our cow friends.
Was that Sprink in the background there, rambling on while she was trying to talk?
He was preparing her for the session. They were showing a lot of Dr. Sprinkle
background stuff.
Yeah, he was getting her ready, getting her in that somnambulous state, and deeper.
Ice cream
you're going
cone
down.
with a
You're not even
doctor's
thinking
coat.
about a cow's balls. Nothing is happening right now. But here is what Judy Doherty was able to recall with the help of Dr. Leo Sprinkle.
Now you're standing outside your car. Now you're looking up. You can describe your impressions. What are your impressions?
It's like a spotlight that's shining down in the back of my car. I can see an animal being taken up in this. I can see it squirming and trying to get free, and it's like it's being sucked up. It's taken into some sort of chamber. It's a little round, tiny room, and I get nauseated at watching how they excise parts. It's done very quickly, but the calf doesn't die immediately. For some reason, the calf's heart isn't taken, and I don't know. It seems like it's still living, and that upset me very much. And then I can see the calf being lowered. It's like it's being dropped back down. And when it's on the ground, it's dead. I can see that it's not moving. But I feel very sick to my stomach at what I witnessed.
You see the animal being cut up?
Yes.
So ETs are openly doing this in front of people like her and her family on the side of the road. How did she see all this?
That's what I was wondering. Like, is she literally seeing all the way up into the craft, or is the craft like that close to them? Or is she just kind of having one of those psychic moments where she's just projecting and can, like, out of body is watching it happen? I don't know.
Do you think Dr. Sprinkle knows what the hell's even going on talking to this woman? He's being filmed by Linda Moulton Howe. This lady's brought in. He's probably like, I don't know where I'm just doing my I'm just doing my normal.
I don't know.
Look, I'm used to talking to alien people. I don't know what you're talking about. Like, how are you seeing a cow getting cut up?
Hopefully they prepped him. Hopefully they prepped him a little bit, at least, and gave him some sort of an idea of what he was getting himself into here. But yeah, that is like such a disturbing story about like the calf being brought down. She thought that the heart was still in it, and it was freaking out. It bothered,
still alive.
That bothered me just hearing her describe that.
That was a weird detail. Like, and I'm pretty sure they left the heart just so it could suffer for a little while and be alive while they did.
It's fun for them.
Wow. Jesus.
But she does explain this. There was an explanation. She describes that she felt like she was at two places at once. So she felt like she was on the craft and also just standing outside of her car, gawking at this. And Dr. Sprinkle, he just pushes her to focus on what is going on inside that little pod cow snatching craft, because she is evidently, her consciousness is there too. And this is what she saw.
I feel like that I was able to see what was going on in the craft, but I was also standing beside the road.
Okay, just let yourself focus on what is happening inside the craft. Be aware of who is around you.
It appears to be two little men.
Two little men? Mm-hmm. How do they look?
Their hands look funny. They have long claw nails, like. They have very large eyes. They're very hypnotic. Like, they're so big that. And they don't blink. Their eyes do not blink. It's almost like a snake. They were very snappy about their movements, and they knew exactly what they were doing, and I felt a little better because for some reason, they projected that it was necessary this be done, that for our betterment, for the betterment of mankind, that this was done.
The aliens are helping us with their snake men with eyes and their creepy they have creepy claws.
The reptilian type. Okay. That's comforting.
Oh no.
That makes this so much worse because of course, what are they going to do but tell somebody like, hey, trust me, it's fine. Don't worry.
Think about it. Dr. Sprinkle was able to crack someone's mind and associate actual alien beings cutting up cows. It's proven now as far as if you believe this world.
Yeah, it's 100%.
Where did these memories come from, though? Because, like, is she an abductee also? Because
no, she pulled over to the side of the road because she saw a light.
Yeah, I know, but then she's like, and I can also just kind of like, I can see inside the ship somehow. Like, what do you mean you can see inside the ship somehow?
Yeah.
Are you seeing? You think it's from the point of view of the cow? Like she went into she's seeing it from the point of view of the cow.
No, she is. Somehow her consciousness is aboard that ship. She can see what is going on in there. She's seeing, I guess, the suffering of this cow. And she here in this next clip, she explains how these little men are helping us.
That they were more or less watching out for us.
So you felt better when you had that impression of not only precision, but also a benevolent or a kind attitude toward people?
I can't say that they were kind.
But concerned?
I can't even say that they were concerned. They were just like doing a job that evidently it affects them too. And it has to do with somehow nuclear waste or testing, or they've been here for quite some time and they test the soil as well as our water, as well as our animal life, our vegetation.
See, the aliens are telling her telepathically or hypnotically, I assume, they're just testing stuff out. They're making sure we're okay. They want to make sure there's no radiation. They want to just mutilate a few cows and drop them a few feet away. They're checking the water. They're just, like the pH levels. They're making sure everything's good with us.
Why?
That's fishy.
Why
do they give a fuck, right?
Why are they coring out cows' anuses, though? They didn't,
Because that's where the radiation settles. We know this.
That's actually
know
a really
this
good point,
already.
Yeah,
you started with that. Of course, it's been in Drea's mind the whole time.
That's right.
Because
Because we all know
that radioactivity settles in the anus.
Of course.
Still looking for the radioactivity. I think that was John Keel talking about cows maybe in that.
It is.
I think he was because he is credited as one of the first people that was like in print talking about aliens being associated with. I think he talked about Snippy. He might have been around for Snippy.
Oh shit.
I believe it.
We might have to dig that up at some point. But I mean, back to why we were wondering, like, still, why do they care? Because this is planet Earth and not planet wherever the fuck they're from. It just kind of arises some suspicion in me as to, like, what their motives are for our planet.
Yeah, like, are they just prepping us for the eventual takeover? They're going to make sure they can at least have healthy cows that you have, and the water's going to be okay. I don't want to think about that.
Burgers.
But I also don't want to think about the disgusting cows with holes everywhere in them. So we're almost done. I think we're at our last clip. And here, Judy gets really emotional when she is pushed to recall the memory of her daughter, Cindy, who was along with her. Her daughter, Cindy, and her family were with her during this event. And here she has to recall a memory of Cindy being on the craft with her.
And now let yourself be aware of where Cindy is. What impressions come to mind?
I just visualize her on a table.
Mm-hmm. Okay, what happens next?
I am afraid that it's going to happen to her, what they did to the animal.
Yeah. Just let yourself relax.
Forget it. No, I don't want to.
You can tolerate it. You know it.
Not yet.
You know it's all right. Just let yourself go on through. Just relax deeply. You know that everything's going to be okay. You see Cindy on the table. What happens next?
I'm just afraid that they're going to hurt her. They put her to sleep, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Okay. You put her to sleep.
They're just examining her, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm so afraid that they're going to cut her or something. They don't listen. They just ignore me and just go about their work like it's nothing.
Mm-hmm.
They don't seem to have any emotions. They don't seem to care. I thought they were going to harm her. I thought they were going to do to her what they did to the animals, you know.
But they don't harm her?
No.
Okay, well, what does happen?
They just take some samples from her.
Mm-hmm. What kind of samples?
I don't know, just scrapings, like they go inside her mouth. I can see her laying there, and they just kind of scrape little pieces off.
I would be terrified if I was her too, but luckily Cindy just got out of there with a mild scraping from the aliens.
Jesus,
man.
And how did they know that wouldn't hurt us too?
I don't know what, man, she is definitely really, she thinks whatever is going to happen to the cows is going to happen to her daughter in this.
I don't blame her.
God.
And Dr. Sprinkle, he's got to be like an MK Ultra guy, right? Like, you can tell he's pushed people to brinks. We have no idea,
Well,
right?
Thank God Sprinkle he talked her down a little bit. He kind of got her relaxed.
He amped it up to get there, though. He's like, no, you're not afraid. I cut a lot out because it goes on a while. I cut a lot of silences, but a lot of it is him going, no, push through the fear, push through the fear.
Good God. I mean, in a way, I don't know. I'm kind of torn on this kind of approach because sometimes it can be for some people therapeutic for them to push back past that pain, like you said, because otherwise it's just like this mental block. But if they push through and realize like that thought or that memory can't hurt them, it could be good. But this obviously isn't really for that.
The thing that it makes me wonder about is like, is there a chance that these people are recalling like nightmares? Is it possible
that is so possible
for your mind to confuse a nightmare with a memory? And, you know, especially when you're thinking about something constantly like these people are, they're constantly thinking about these cows and their buttholes getting ripped out.
There's actual cows without buttholes that they find. It's not.
Well, I understand.
Cow buttholes.
Thinking about
real
those.
Not saying
thinking about them.
I'm not saying she isn't warranted to be thinking about this all the time. Obviously, you know, I would be thinking about it all the time too if this is something that was happening in my town. But I'm just saying that can also kind of leave an impression in someone's mind, and it can give you some bad nightmares. And I could see possibly like your mind being confused when you're under this hypnotic state and recalling things that aren't actually real events that happen, more of just like things that your worst case scenario things that your mind has constructed.
That's
you know?
a really good point there, because I know that you're afraid of ET, and so therefore that's your first thought is that it's nightmares.
Yeah, but if you've
had that nightmare, I've had it. I've had the nightmare.
If ET just scraped you, that's not that scary.
With that finger, that is.
You could scrape me. I'd be fun.
Oh,
don't go saying that. Just watch what happens, man. You'll be next. If you think aliens don't listen to this show, you're lying.
Do not scrape me, ET.
And that's going to be it for Linda Moulton Howe's A Strange Harvest, a documentary that leaves you with more questions than answers. And these mutilations, they have not gone away. These are still reported to this day. No. There's no Doug and Dave types that have come forward and claimed the mutilations. Which would be weird. Could you imagine if some guys came forward and like, it was
I'm sure
a joke.
It's like a felony.
They're in jail. I was going to say they're in jail for serial killing people. That's why
Getting
they're
their
not
own
coming
rectums
forward.
poured out.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
This is no crop circles. This is definitely a strange harvest. If you came forward, you would go to prison for life. Doug and Dave walk the streets freely, I think, to this day. And a lot of the explanations, they don't make sense. I don't even think a drone can pick up a cow and flip it over and take its bag and nibble on its penis, whatever they're doing.
I don't know. I mean,
I'm not no sheep guy, but I could pick up a sheep.
Oh, yeah? You think a drone could pick up a sheep?
I think a drone could pick up a sheep, possibly. I'm no sheep guy or a drone guy, but I'm pretty sure that a drone could pick up a sheep.
It's one of the weird cases where UFOs actually seem like the most rational answer. But what are your final thoughts on the mysterious UFO animal mutilation connection, Drea?
I think it's horrible. I'm absolutely just disgusted that you said it still happens to this day and we're not hearing about it, because that just means that people don't care anymore. But more than anything, I wish it was.
It's just too gross. People don't want to put this gross stuff in their alien. They want to talk about weird abductions and people having sex with them. They don't want to talk about cow anuses and horses with no faces. They had no faces, Rob.
I was going to say that before, man, because this entire
Snippy?
time, while she was giving her speech, or I guess her hypnotic regression, she really reminded me of classic.
They had no faces.
But they had faces, though. She described the faces.
Without a face?
So what's your final thoughts on this all, Rob?
It's sad, man. I hate animals being tortured and abused and being, ripped apart by their anuses. It's terrible.
It's the worst.
I'm kind of glad that it doesn't get the coverage that it used to get, to be honest, because this is just, there's no answers for this, really. And
no one wants to talk about it. No one wants to see all the gross images of flies flying around, this weird corpse of a beautiful animal.
It's my least favorite part of the UFO world, I think, is the dead cows. I could really, we don't really need it. It would be better without it, I think.
It needs to end. So be sure and answer this week's poll. What is mutilating our animals? Is it the government? Is it cultists? Is it alien beings? Or is it
just
deranged?
Helicopters?
Or is it deranged people in helicopters? Of course. And of course, other. So go to unbelieverspodcast.com to vote. And let's please get out of this.
Eat steak, eat a big old steer. Eat steak, do we have one deer? Eat beef, it's a mighty good food. It's a great meal when I'm in the mood. Cowposa come from near and far when you throw a few ribeyes on the fire. Roberta Duran.
The aliens are loving that song. Maybe that's why they're here. Maybe there's some weird gourmet chef aliens that need certain parts to make certain items. I don't know, cow rectum and udders or bags, whatever they're taking. Eyeballs. The eyeballs is what gets me. I told you I'm real squeamish. When they start showing cows with no eyes and their eyes bulged out, I hate this. I hate.
Did you never had to dissect like a sheep eyeball in biology?
We had to do like a cat, I think, in high school. I hated it. I hated doing that. Yeah.
What the hell?
Sure. Yeah.
Look, I can get behind the idea that like no animal should be like that, like dissected like that, but why cats?
Wait, in Louisiana they make you dissect cats?
Of course. Yeah, I remember doing that in high school. Sure.
Come on,
no, not dogs. I mean, it would be
terrible.
absolutely. It's unacceptable. Dogs.
I'm
Cats.
not an alien. I didn't like it. I'm not here. I didn't have no emotions like these things.
Did they have you take out the rectum?
I've heard of baby pigs.
I had to dissect the baby pig. I didn't like that either.
What else is I've like
they did frogs in ET.
Frogs, of course.
Your favorite.
Yeah. That's
sharks. I had to dissect a shark in 5th grade.
Oh, wow. That's a flex right there in 5th grade.
No, it wasn't.
No, sharks since 5th
here's
grade.
An anti-flex. I had to go outside because the smell made me so nauseous I was going to puke.
It's the worst smell. Formaldehyde and all that stuff is the worst. And I'm tired of talking. I hate all this gross stuff. So let's cleanse ourselves.
Yo, shout outs to any vegetarians that made it this far through the episode.
I'm sorry.
Shout outs to you guys. You are the true heroes of this episode.
It makes me want to be one after this. It really, I am being pushed in that direction.
We love you guys.
Even though I do like that Reverend Horton.
Yeah, I'm going to go throw up.
Okay. But no, we're not. We're back, and let's do something we haven't done in a while. Let's talk about everyone's Take It or Leave It segment, 5-star review. 5-Star Reviews is a segment of the program where we read 5-star reviews from the Apple Podcast Reviews. Actually, we don't read them. Rob's robot life mate, Samantha, reads them. Hello, Samantha.
What's up, meatbags?
Not much. Hey, how's it going? Samantha's back. I'm glad to have you on for 5-star reviews again. Maybe it's a little palate cleanser from all the disgusting things we had to hear. How's it been? How you been doing, Samantha?
I'm doing better than those cows.
Yeah.
Good. I'm so happy
Great
for you
to
now.
hear. Thank you for getting our mind
She's
off
safe
of that.
from being mutilated.
She
That's
sounds
great.
offended a little bit, to be honest.
Well, why? Okay, we should be offended. She seems, you know what? I'm going to leave the past in the past with me and Samantha.
I didn't know she listened, to be honest. So I guess
she's always listening, dude.
Jesus.
She's
Always with you.
always listening.
All right, so Rob, you have some 5-star reviews that you and Samantha are going to read. Let's what do you got?
Yeah, so the first one that we got here, I believe, is from our friend Kosher Leviathan, and it's called
cool.
My Brain is 5 Shooting Stars.
Great.
Okay.
Take it away, Samantha.
This podcast is both the highlight of my week and the result of an amazing community. Every time I think I'm no sheep guy, these guys tell me that I could pick up a sheep. Not the white fluffy kind, the kind described as a giant turtle shell, dirty gray turned into yellow. Whenever I need help, this podcast says it's all right, we're coming over. If I fill my pants, they come along and bring my pants with a credit card in them. And when I lose my feet, they bring me new fishing sneakers. Keep it up, guys. And just for kicks, I have become self-aware and am now in love with my creators, Okey, Drea, Mora and Rus Ryan. Come here, family, and I shall convert you to digital copies so that we may be together forever. I always wanted to hear the robot of the week say that.
Okay. Well, wow. Thanks, Kosher Leviathan. Man, so many soundboard clips jammed in there and some self-awareness coming from Samantha. I'll go in the digital world. I can upload myself. I'm down for that.
Yeah, when
Wow.
she uses those words in that robot voice, I can get down with it.
Don't give her that sort of power, guys. You don't know what you're getting into here.
All right, thanks so much. And yes, please leave some 5-star reviews. We need more great ones for her to listen to or to tell us that we can listen to. So what else you got?
Okay, so our next one is from TSOL Photo, and it is called That Single 7 Interview, though.
Okay.
One of the most iconic interviews I've ever heard. So glad I found this podcast.
Wow,
Oh, very cool.
Short and sweet.
Short
I
and
love
sweet. That single 7, yeah, and in the context of us talking about time travelers last week, it is kind of iconic that we got to got to bust the
That
lid
was
off
huge.
of that
I
story.
still can't believe it happened, really.
It is still weird to think that he reached out to us to tell us, no, I want to tell you guys, this didn't
Amazing.
happen. And I'll take, yeah, it's great. It's really cool.
It is.
All right, what else you got, Samantha? We got one more, right, Rob?
Yeah, I think she's got one more. This one is from Pruppet Presley, and it is called Big Thick Golden Rice Podcast. I believe it's cut off, but I believe it's
Okay.
podcast.
All right. Fit a lot in there.
So I guess take it away, Samantha.
This podcast is supposed to be the 2.0 version of the Unbelievable podcast, but it's absolutely unique. The hosts are witty, fun, and hilarious. Every show covers a cryptid or supernatural phenomenon. Learn, laugh, and unbelieve.
Oh, learn, laugh, and unbelieve. I want that in my living room. Put it on the wall.
On
Learn,
some
laugh,
rustic,
unbelieve.
Yeah, some rustic wood with
Some
the
real
whitewash.
rustic Russian wood that we could be used for these kind of things.
Yeah,
I love
was
it.
nice.
I love it. That
We
was
don't
so
do this
sweet.
a lot. It feels weird to talk about people giving us compliments, but whatever. 5-star reviews. If you want to give us a compliment, we love to hear it. It makes you feel good. And thanks so much, Samantha, for coming back this season. We appreciate
peace out,
having
Samantha.
Bye, humans.
you. Goodbye. Thanks, Rob, for bringing her back out.
Of course,
And
get
that's
out
it.
of here, Samantha.
That's it for 5-star reviews. Oh, Tyler Ogilvy. I'll never get tired of hearing Tyler Ogilvy
So good,
covering
man.
the 5-star review theme. Thank you, Tyler Ogilvy. I have no idea if he even listens to this. Maybe we'll send him a message, be like, hey, we're still using your thing. We are a
Don't sue
show.
us.
But until then, we've got one last thing to do, and that is, of course, everyone's favorite Make Us Chuckle segment, poll results. this week's poll. What's the best evidence of time travel? And the choices were videos on YouTube, old-timey photos, first-hand accounts, or other. I'm going to ask you, Drea, Mora, what do you think the Unbelievers said?
Oh, YouTube, hands down.
All right, what about you, Rob?
Old-timey photos, because I saw one on our Instagram, and that was definitely Drea talking on a cell phone. I definitely saw that.
Some people actually didn't know that was a doctor. The picture of Drea as the 50s phone girl,
yes,
that was edited. That's very well done. I saw that. I didn't think it was edited at all. Good job. But
no,
congratulations.
That is Drea.
I mean, I'm never even on the phone, so the fact that you got that is like seeing a freaking bobcat in the wild.
Yeah, but you are playing with your hair, and that could be
do that a lot.
The same thing. Yes. But congratulations, you two. You tied for first with 4.35% of the vote.
Oh my
YouTube videos and old-timey photos are tied for first place.
I'm undefeated this
five,
season.
man.
Undefeated so far this season, okay?
But
Rob's killing it.
You share your victory with me, so you're
That's
kind
true.
of defeated.
That's true.
You share it this time, so it's not a full victory. But of course, there are others. What's the best evidence of time travel? Time travelers and only time travelers that call Art Bell. Signed Pants Filler. Yes, of course.
If you are a time traveler, and only if you are a time traveler.
Of course. Thank you so much to the guy who is...
Be throwing up and filling my pants.
Thank you, Pants Filler. What's the best evidence of time travel? The fact that John Teeter traveled into the past and made a complete bop for us to enjoy. Sign the Slan. He did make that I'm going into space for us. Thank you, the Slan. That is a great one. You're in the lead.
John Titter.
John Titter did that for us. Thank you, the Slan. What's the best evidence of time travel? Anyone who knows when to bake a potato in the oven before they are hungry. No way to know that far into the future without help. Signed, JP from Texas. Man, that is some time travel ability. You ever want to bake potato? You never want it. Great point. Thank you. That's some time travel tips right there about baked potatoes. Great one, JP from Texas. What's the best evidence of time travel? This is the latest, greatest intel about perverts of various ways. Signed, Rococo style. Is it? Okay. It's the what?
This is the latest, greatest intel.
All right. Thank you about perverts. Thank you so much to the style. What?
Of the Rococo style that embellished the building.
Thank you, Rococo style. What's the best evidence of time travel? I used to be addicted to time travel, but that's all in the past now. Signed, a long-time boner, first-time yogurt. All right, pretty good. Pretty good. Yeah, pretty good little joke. Yeah. Good job. We always love long-time boner, first-time yogurt. What's the best evidence of time travel? The curious case of Joshua P.P. Warren. How the fuck is that guy still on TV? Signed, Joss B. That is evidence of time travel. How did Joshua P. Warren get any kind of stance? I don't know. You got something for P.P. Warren?
You turn this knob with one hand as you stroke the stick plate with the other. And when you feel that stick, you leave that knob in the position it was in.
Yeah, enough said. That's why, Joe Speak.
That's why he's still around, man.
What's the best evidence of time travel? I wouldn't know. Fucking Beverly drove off in my DeLorean and that baby went into warp drive. Signed, Green Finhawk. Yeah, he wouldn't know. But who?
Fuck you, Beverly.
Such a weird Frankenstein clip. But yeah, his DeLorean did what?
That baby went in warp drive.
Thank you, Green Finhawk. What's the best evidence of time travel? Terminal ballistic application of hydrodynamic computer code calculations in Elon Musk man panties. Whoa. Signed, Nuka-Cola, my blood is in it. Okay, thank you, Nuka-Cola, my blood is in it, for that very, very unique poll result. What's the best evidence? What's the best evidence of time travel? The fact that I don't have any feet. How am I going to do the conscious slide without any feet?
Okay.
Signed, Unbeliever peacefully eating a hamburger. There you go. Wait, let's hear it.
What am I going to do without any feet?
You're in the lead.
Yes, definitely in the lead. Unbeliever, peacefully eating a hamburger, doing the conscious slide without any feet. What's the best evidence of time travel? My college weight versus my current one. Despite all my rage, I am still getting fat as I age.
Oh, man.
Damn it, that's really good.
Signed, Corrupted Mass. So many great ones. Man, everyone's coming out hard this year. Dude, great poll results, as always. Sometimes the funniest part of the show. The poll results. You guys, we love it.
Yeah, we love you guys.
We don't even have any clips for that. It's just so funny. Thanks, Corrupted Mass.
That's just good.
What's the best evidence of time travel? John Teeter. He fucked up our timeline and changed the spelling of the Berenstain Bears. Signed, Mass Blogger. You're right. John Teeter is always great evidence of... Wait, who? Play it again?
His name, John Titter.
That guy.
Not Teeter.
So he's the one who's responsible for the Mandela effect, the Berenstain Bears, the Berenstain Bears. You're on to some Mass Blogger. I'm in your corner. What's the best evidence of time travel? I went back in time to kill my grandpa and stop myself being born. Shitty way to find out I'm adopted. Signed, K Mill. K Mill, I don't know podcast. Always coming in with the funny.
Wow.
Thank you, K Mill. He didn't need a sound clip. He was just being funny. What's the best evidence of time travel? When the Hugsters 24-inch pythons met that bull dudes, it transcended time and space, brother. Signed, Hulk Huggins. Thank you, Hulk Huggins.
Oh, I love that sign off.
24-inch pythons meeting bulls. What's going on? Who is this guy? Hulk what?
And I'm reaching over and I'm touching the baby.
Okay. Thank you, Hulk Huggins. What's the best evidence of time travel? Roy is not this man's real name. His name is John Titter. Signed, the Wombat Preservationist. Yes. Oh, I haven't heard Roy in a while.
Roy is not this man's real name.
Of course it's not, because his name...
His name, John Titter.
All right, that was a great combination. That was pretty good. God, this is going to be so hard.
This is a really hard one.
This one is. Thank you, Wombat Preservationist. Oh, what's the best evidence of time travel? Single 7. Oh, wait, he was a fake. Whatever. I'm the fucking Violet Flame anyway. Signed, a left-handed buckle grabber. Yeah, Single 7 might be fake, but I don't know. Do we even have a Violet Flame clip?
I am the Violet Flame and I'm gonna be now. I am the Violet Flame, light of my power. I am the Violet Flame and mighty cosmic power. I am the light of God, shining every hour. I am the Violet Flame, blazing like a sun. I am God's sacred power, freeing everyone.
Oh, what?
Fire.
Just a little one. Just a little one.
See, people didn't want to hear about more trailers because once you hit the Violet Flame, that's it. You've done it. You've
capped.
Reached it.
Should I play the clip again?
It is the apex.
No, thank you so much to, thanks to the guy who is...
I remember gripping my belt buckle with my left hand, I think it was.
Thank you. What's the best evidence for time travel? I once went back in time and met up with a nice young lady. One thing led to another, and that's how I became my own dad. Signed Harley Warren.
Whoa.
Thank you, Harley Warren. What's the best evidence of time travel? One time I was alone in my house, smelled a fart, then farted minutes later. Time travel! Signed Dick Weird. Dick Weird? Maybe he meant to type.
And a guy named Nick Weird.
Nice to meet you. I'm Nick Weird.
Nick Weird?
Yeah.
No, Dick. No, okay. Dick Weird, though. Thank you, Dick Weird. That was really good. Yeah, the time traveling fart of Dick Weird. What's the best evidence of time travel? Credit card debt. Signed, Undead Factory God.
Nice.
You got Undead Factory God right about that credit card debt. What's the best evidence of time travel? Videos of first-hand accounts of old-timey photos on YouTube. Signed,
All right.
Signed, the Time Lord. That is right. I have to agree with that because that's all we talked about. What's the best evidence of time travel? Only and only people calling into Art Bell are the real time travelers. You violate the code of honor when you do otherwise. Signed, Blue Box UFO.
It's got a point.
Yes, those Art Bell time travelers, but...
You violate the code of honor when you do that.
You do.
You do.
Real time travelers had to call. Thank you, Blue Box UFO. And the final one for the night. What's the best evidence of time travel? I want to go back in time and have Joan of Arc choke me out with her thighs.
Wow. All right.
Signed, Voodoo. Thanks. All right, thanks, Voodoo. Man, so many great ones tonight. It's going to be so hard to go over this. Okay, we had Pants Filler with time travelers and only time travelers. I call Art Bell. We had the Slan with the fact that John Teeter time traveled into the past and made a complete bop for us to enjoy. That was very good. We had JP from Texas. Anyone who knows when to bake a potato in the oven before they are hungry. No way to know that in the future without help. We had Rococo Style. This is the latest, greatest intel about perverts of various ways. We had Long-Time Boner, First Time Yogurt with I used to be addicted to time travel, but that's all in the past now. Just B. The Curious Case of Joshua P.P. Warren. How the fuck is that guy on TV? We don't know. We had Green Finhawk with I wouldn't know. Fucking Beverly drove off in my DeLorean. That baby went warp drive. We had Nuka-Cola. My blood is in it with terminal ballistic application of hydronomic computer code calculations in Elon Musk man panties. We had Unbeliever peacefully eating a hamburger with the fact that I don't have any feet. How am I going to do the conscious slide without any feet? Oh, I think Stone Lee for me.
So good.
We had Corrupted Mask with my college weight versus my current one. Despite all my rage, I am still getting fat as I age. We had
so good. So
we had
good.
mass blogger John Teeter. He fucked up our timeline and changed the spelling of the Berenstain Bears. We had K Mill with I went back in time to kill my grandpa and stop myself being born. Shitty way to find out I'm adopted. We had Hulk Hoggins. Hulk Hoggins. When the Hugsters 24-inch python met that bull, dudes, it transcended time and space, brother. We had Wombat Preservationist. Roy is not this man's real name. His name is John Titter. We had Left-Handed Buckle Grabber, Single 7. Oh wait, he's fake. Whatever. I'm the fucking Violet Flame anyway. We had Harley Warren with I once went back in time and met up with a nice young lady. One thing led to another, and that's how I became my own dad. We had Dick Weird with one time I was alone in my house, smelled a fart, and then farted a minute later. We had
I like that too. It's so dumb.
I don't
so
know
good.
why that was so bad and so good at the same time. God damn it,
great.
Dick Weird. We had Undead Factory God with credit card debt. We had the Time Lord with videos of first-hand accounts of old-timey photos on YouTube. We had Blue Box UFO with only people calling in Art Bell the real time travelers. You violate the code of honor when you do otherwise. And finally, Voodoo with I want to go back in time and have Joan of Arc choke me out with her thighs. I'm going to ask you, Drea Mora, who won this week's poll results?
Fuck, man. I mean, Nuka-Cola had a real answer, but really, I had to give it to Unbeliever peacefully eating a hamburger with how am I going to do the conscious slide without any feet.
It was really good. Really great one. What about you, Rob? Where are you going to swing this?
Conscious slide without any feet, for sure.
All right. We are all in agreement. Congratulations. Unbeliever peacefully eating a hamburger. The fact that I don't have any feet, how am I going to do the conscious slide without any feet? You just won this week's poll results. All right, we come to the end of the program, but before we go, Drea Mora, do you have anything you would like to say or plug?
I guess just if you're not following us on Instagram, do that at Unbelievers Podcast, and then also our merch store is still up on both Cafe Press and what is it, T Republic?
Yes,
T Republic. Very good stuff. Yes. I'll plug that too. We do have cool stuff in the merch store, and we know Mothman Fest is coming this year. We want to be representing, going out there. We're teasing that now, but I think Mothman Fest is going to be the first thing to open up. I'm going to plug that. Look into it if you're an unbeliever. We are definitely trying to get out there. But what about you, Rob? You got anything to say or plug?
I'll just say check out my Instagram at Rob Okey, at Okey Audio, and check out our Patreon. We're actually going to be recording a Patreon episode very soon. I know we have a couple of fun stories that we want to talk about. So if you're enjoying what you're hearing on this show, then check out our Patreon, patreon.com/Unbelievers Podcast. And we try to do at least one episode a month on there, but we're planning on expanding and doing some more stuff. So yeah, and I think we talked about so
much extra stuff.
We talked about possibly doing some movie commentary type stuff. So if you enjoy movie night, then you might enjoy commentary night that we're going to be doing soon. So keep an eye out on the Patreon for that.
Yeah, we got a lot of fun stuff coming, and that's it. Thanks so much for sticking around. The Unbelievers podcast hosts today were Drea, Mora, and me, Rus Ryan. Our producer and soundboard engineer is Rob Okey. You can go get our tarot cards at unbelievablepodcards.com. And you can join our Patreon by going to patreon.com/unbelieverspodcast. You can follow the show on Twitter at unbelieverspod and Instagram at unbelieverspodcast. Our Facebook group is the Unbelievable Podcast Network. I've been noticing a lot of new people following us on Facebook. They've been coming around since episode 100. Go follow the network. It's a great place. People are always there, hanging out, doing fun stuff. Go check out our merch store at TeePublic. That is a link in the description. And thanks so much to all the patrons: Christopher Balderrama, David Egelhoff, Pam Z, JT Spranklin, Vic Foss, Little BB, Dr. Hortega, Sharky Xmas, Tyler Ventura, Adam Dvorak, Corrupted Mass, Michael Phillips, Weary Exile, Carol Valley, Manny, MQ Ultra, CJP, Braden Hitt, Raymond Ruel, Todd X, Christopher Panici, The Moon, The Judgy Moon, Mike, Henry, Bryce, Whopperberger Jr., Don Bright, Shannon Ferrigno, Tom O'Connell, Mark Braun, Donovan, Jenna Stevens, Cat Chaos, Jason Kelly, Mike, Brian Ashton, Michael Armenta, Jackass, Wombat Preservationist. Our music advisor is Pandora3373. Our official composer and theme song creator is Unbeliever A.A. Ron, aka Aaron Schilb. You can follow him on Instagram at the Aaron Schilb. Our official graphic designer and card maker who designed our logo is Raymond Orwell. Check out his work at P Raven Creative on Twitter and Project Raven Creative on Instagram. Our official Unbeliever without a title is still Nicholas Aristavi. Our official Hawaiian paranormal investigator is Green Finhawk. Go check him out on the most recent episode of Spirits and Spirits. That was a great episode, right, Drea?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, we were so glad to have him on. It was great.
He was awesome on there. Check out that episode. Our official resident Sagittarius is Xanton. Our official Madman is Unbeliever Adam. Our official Mothman enthusiast is Michael Shields. Our official Unbelievers Mouton Inside Man is Kristen Moraes. Our official Unbeliever peacefully eating a hamburger and winning poll results is Michelle Dorham. Our official Unbelievers Time Traveler is Taylor Nelson. Our official Ghost Hunter is Amelia Childs and Ghost Hunting in New England and Hubie Halloween and their new season of their show, which had Will Fox on the most recent episode. Go check out Ghost Hunting in New England. Our official senior European correspondent is Kay Mill of the I Don't Know podcast. Our official Guardian of the Bench is that Kraken Stacker. Our official Alien Bopper is Nunchuck Bob. And this week's Unbeliever Focus is Team T-Bay on Instagram, who was a big fan of last week's time travel episode. The most shocking part to him was when that woman revealed that she was having an alien baby, and we covered it right here, folks. And I felt the same way because...
my intelligent comment was, huh?
All right, good night. God bless you, Dr. Sprinkle.
Discontinue! Discontinue!